Excellent.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining me again on another podcast. This is Javier with the real Javier Novoa, and Orthodox religion is late, at least it seems to me, has been losing steam. But mysticism and the actual practical aspects of the scriptures and the real interpretation of the scriptures, as was interpreted by the real mystics, is picking up steam. It's speaking to people's lives. And as Joe Dispenza said, now is not only the age of knowing, it's the age of knowing how. And today I have a guest who I've been following for many years, just recently got to speak to her, Ashley Douglas. And she is very good at seeing the visions of the mystical. And today I just want to talk to her about what she does, about who she is, and we can have a great conversation. Ashley, thank you so much for joining us at this virtual table.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me. How fun is this? Thank you for inviting me. So this is great.
It is very awesome. And I used to see you, of course, for many of you who know, I consider one of my mentors to be Mike Popovich, who is basically at the cutting edge of interpreting the scriptures in the way they were meant to be interpreted as symbols, as psychological symbols. And Ashley Douglas used to introduce his church services with some of her visions, and a lot of those spoke to me personally. And so I just wanted to ask you, first of all, Ashley, what was your spiritual path, just in short, so to speak? How did you get from, shall we say, where you were as a child to where you are now spiritually?
Yeah. Wow, that's a great question. Um, so I grew up Southern Baptist, and
Oh,
then my family moved, we went to a Nazarene church after that. Always grew up in the Christian church. Um, and my mom always had this ability to do weird things like predict very closely football scores.
wow.
And yeah, and so we had, but we didn't do that, right? Because that was like a no-no in the church, right? And so just kind of left my gift a little dormant for a long time, but I always knew that I had something going on. I could pick up on energies really easily. And when my great grandmother passed away, I was 10. And I had a dream the night before her funeral. I had a dream of her exact funeral. And we were in this really obscure room in the church that we went to. Like, I had never been in this room before, and that's where the funeral service was held. It's just a small number of us. And anyway, I dreamed what the pastor preached about and things like that. And told my mom about it. And my mom was like, well, we kind of have these things going on in our family, but, we want to be very careful because we don't want to open ourselves up to, demonic things was what we called it back then. Um, and then over time, we just became more well versed in it. And by the grace of the universe, spirit, God, whatever you want to call it, all of it applies. I became connected with Mike and Barb Popovich, who are just amazing, amazing mentors of mine as well. I consider them mentors and lucky enough to consider them friends. And so I had, uh, and I don't want this to be polarizing for anybody. I'm assuming people who are listening to your podcast are at least interested in this stuff, but
Oh, for sure.
okay, good. I had someone from the other side, a spirit from the other side, um, bring a message to me for her parents. She had died an untimely death, and she brought a message to me for her parents, and it was the very first one. And Mike knew this couple, and I confirmed it with Mike first because, first of all, I was pretty freaked out myself. But let me add to this. Over time, slowly coming out of like the rules side of religion and coming more into, I love what you said at the beginning, the more mystic side. And like the spirit of the word is still very much alive and well and will never go away, right? And so the different interpretations of that and the everlasting interpretations of that are always valid. So talked to Mike about that, and he really encouraged my gift. He was like, "Oh yeah, that is exactly what happened. This person who had passed revealed some details of her passing to me, and just wanted to bring some comfort to her parents."
So now, did this come as a dream or like as a waking sort of vision?
Good question. Yeah, it was a waking vision, and before I learned how to kind of hone it, It would usually come to me while I was like curling my hair. And I think that was just because it was meditative and I was like not thinking about anything. I was just kind of zoned out, curling my hair. And she came to me in that moment. So I was wide awake and I knew who she was. I don't know how to explain it, but I knew. And I got my phone and pulled up my little notes app and I just jotted down what I felt like she was saying to me. And then I approached Mike with that message first because I knew he knew the couple. I didn't know their daughter at all. And I just wanted to make sure that the information I had was correct because that's a very sensitive subject, obviously. And it
Sure.
was, and they felt very the look of comfort on their face. It's worth more than any gold in the world, right? It's just like so, yeah, grew up real Orthodox Christian and like pretty strict. Uh, and then kind of slowly came out of religion, but I feel closer to God than I've ever been in my life because it is us, right?
Uh,
Um, no longer looking outside of myself for God, I guess is the best way to put that.
I mean, if you look at Jesus' life, he was always against the religious establishment,
Yeah.
whether it was
Yes.
like overthrowing the money changers in the temple or going against the Pharisees. And I don't see how we've sort of built our own Pharisee like system in our religions today.
Isn't that wild? You're so right. Yeah, he was always kind of like pointing back to you. And you know what stinks? I was talking about this with somebody recently. I think the work of Jesus has gotten a bad rap, right? Like Jesus was never out here saying that like I am the one that is that is like your God. I'm just pointing back to the God in you. Like I'm aware of my Christ consciousness, but I'm trying to help you be aware of your own Christ consciousness, right?
Exactly. You know, most of I think that's what the work you're doing is so beautiful because most, at least in the United States, most of us had a Christian upbringing with Orthodox religion, and you can sort of guide people to the godhood within themselves through using scripture, sort of like Neville did, sort of like you and Mike.
Uh, yeah, you're right. I think that like, and you know what's interesting is like, I feel now there was a time when I had to pull back from traditional scriptures and kind of like get away from it for a bit and really understand
Detox.
what I believe, right? Detox. Perfect. Perfection. Um, so yeah, but now scripture's coming back to me in a beautiful way. And I love it because it's the word is everlasting. It's always applying because it's from spirit, spirit breathed. But it's not that like it's always within you. And that's why I think everybody has a different interpretation of it, which I think is rather beautiful for
Indeed.
different seasons of life, right? Yeah.
And so, this gift that you're talking about, what do you call it? How do you characterize it?
I call it spiritual sight. It's just kind of um, it's just a knowingness, right? I'll just have this kind of knowing about something. Occasionally, like when this young woman came to me from the other side, I did see her face in my mind's eye. It's not like I saw her face like I'm looking at you, but I saw her in my mind's eye and saw what she looked like. Um, but most of the time, it's just a knowing. Now, we have as a culture words for this, and the thing about it is, I think that they've become so polarizing that people kind of throw it away as hooey. And there are certain people that I think, can get a little off track with it. Let me clarify. When you know your oneness, when you know that we are all one and you're awakened to your true divine nature, when you operate in the spiritual sight gifting, whatever that means to you, it's a little more um, true north versus if you don't have an awareness that we're all one and you're operating in the gifting, there's a little bit of hierarchy mindset about it. Um, and I believe that everybody has this ability. It just takes some honing. Everybody uniquely expresses it, but if you want to see in the spirit and just ask spirit to speak to you and bring you messages, you can simply ask and just start to a regular meditative practice every day. It doesn't have to be long, it can be, 10, 30 minutes, whatever. That's plenty, in my experience.
hone that. And I want to get into sort of the practical aspects of this. I'm really excited to do that. But just for those, and you mentioned it, I think, in the last answer, those who are going to say, "Oh, this is psychic," and that's of the devil. What is your response to that?
You know, I believe that God is love, and the only thing that exists on the spiritual side is love. I do believe that there are negative, lower vibrational energies on Earth that, we can perceive and things like that. But seeing in the spirit, it's all just pure love. So if somebody has a message for you of doom or of whatever, that's not good. If it doesn't feel like love, just throw it out. Anything that is a psychic message or a medium message, clairvoyant message, whatever you want to call it, spiritual sight, if it's of love and it resonates in your heart, you know it's your truth if it resonates for you. If it doesn't resonate for you, then that's okay. But I think that, like, my intention when I bring a message to somebody is always in their highest and best good. Um, if I feel like there's a doom message, I don't ever feel that. It's more like, hey, I've never actually had a warning for anybody. So we'll throw that out. I think really what I mean is I don't believe that demons and devils are running around the world. I think that it's negative energy, mostly from human beings, and anything coming from spirit is love.
Indeed, it's all, even the demons that they're describing. It's all within you.
Yes.
If you look at the mystics and so on.
Which is a little more scary than actual spiritual demons
Exactly,
because
it is. We
you're
can't blame
causing it.
anything outside of us. You're causing it.
Yeah, totally.
So just going back to your point about the meditation, but for you, these visions, you didn't really go in with the intention, I want to be a seer. It just came to you, correct?
It just came.
Sort of like a
And
gift.
yeah, and I was already always kind of like interested in that kind of stuff, but was afraid of it because we were taught that it was like the devil for the longest
Mhm.
time. And then when things started coming to me that were very loving in nature, like this couple I spoke to about their daughter, the look on their face of relief and just the joy and peace that that brought to them, there's no way that that can be of evil. There's no way. Um, and so it came to me and I just was so excited. Like, now let's get more into it. Like, I would do this for free forever just because when you channel a message like that from spirit, the love that flows through your own body is so profound. I can't explain the feeling. It's beautiful. Yeah.
Indeed, it's like channeling. Like, I don't
Hmm.
know if you're familiar with Bashar and Abraham Hicks.
Yeah.
It's sort of the same kind of energy, correct?
1,000%. It's all, yep, it's all the same. We use so many different words to describe it, but when you just connect to spirit and you feel like you get a download or whatever it is, that's exactly it.
And so your mother, she had this gift as well. Did she, and but you said she was kind of afraid of it. Did she impart any of that to you or give you any pointers, or did you just sort of see her in the act of it?
I saw her in the act of it, and hers is more like knowing information like that. She shut it down because she did experience some scary things, I believe, related to negative energies that she encountered. Um, when she was younger. And in fact, as I started to explore it and she started to come out of religion a little bit, she's opened up her gifting as well. And I'm just excited for her path. Hers is a little bit different than mine. That's what I love about being able to see in the spirit. Everybody does it a little differently, and it's lovely.
And so you're saying anyone can do this. It's just about honing it.
That's right. There's a lady on YouTube. Her name is Suzanne Giesman. Um,
Okay.
Giesemann.
Okay. Oh,
And her YouTube channel, she's a medium. Her YouTube channel is dedicated to using her gift, obviously, but also teaching others to hone the gift if they have the desire. I believe that anybody can do it. And I believe that if you have the desire to do it, you really do have kind of the propensity for it, right? Um, And even if she was actually like a high-ranking naval officer on Air Force One, like she was
Wow.
definitely not in the spiritual gifting field. Uh, Not to say those people don't operate in their spiritual gifts, but she wasn't being a medium on Air Force One. And
Some of those were, but we can discuss that. But some of those guys did get into that.
oh, really? I
For,
believe
yeah,
that.
for
Yeah.
remote viewing. But anyway,
Yep. I think that's so cool, right? I think, of course, why would we not use those things? And like, yeah, so she had her stepdaughter passed away, and she had a strong desire to connect with her, across the veil, as it were. And so she decided to begin really the way to do it is just this regular practice of meditation. I think people can overcomplicate the heck out of it. Um, but your spirit is already full, ready to go. You don't need to develop your spirit. It's more just about connecting on a regular basis.
like Mike said, a 5-year-old has to be able to do it.
Yes.
It can't,
Yes.
can't be complicated.
1000%. You nailed it. Yep. And you come here, your spirit is full. There's nothing to change about you. There's nothing to fix. There's nothing to become. It's just a matter of connecting to spirit on a regular basis.
That is so beautiful. So, do you think that because there are certain spiritual teachers, even Neville, who said that we're here sort of to develop our gift of imagining, but then other teachers say that there is no purpose. We're just here to enjoy. Do you think there's like a test or a series that we have to get to, or do you think that this is just we're coming just to express our godhood?
Oh, that's such a good question. So, I I think most people who watch any of my content know that I'm obsessed with listening to near-death experiences. I just want to know what spirit is about, and I love to hear people's depiction of the other side. And the people that I have heard talk about their life review, they speak about coming here to learn certain things. And so, they talk about coming here pre-programmed with like, hey, these are the certain themes, and like not every day is planned out for you. It's not like predeterminism. It's more like there's some things in life that you're going to learn about, and you're going to reconcile those experiences back to love. In that, I'm going to go through this experience, and I'm going to see how I was not separate in those moments. And I believe those are the lessons we come here to learn. Now, if we come here to do that in terms of like the way Neville did it by opening up our gifts, some people have that thing that's their mission. Some people come here to learn those lessons through doing nothing at all. Or some people come here to learn those lessons by going into corporate America or whatever it is. I think the whole lesson is to come here and feel a sense of separation and then reconcile that experience back to I was never separate.
It's almost like the Hindu account of Brahman and Atman. And the god, goes to sleep, and then he wakes up and rediscovers himself, and it's just eternally that.
That is stunningly beautiful. Could not be more simply said and perfect, right? Because I love that. There's a guy who actually his name is Christian something. I mentioned him on one of my recent videos. He was having like a brain issue, and they were doing some sort of like work on his brain with anyway, he had a pre-birth memory, or so he believes.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And his pre-birth memory revealed to him exactly what you said, where the veil is the body, right? The veil is the illusion of separation as a body. And as a body, we're intended to go into periods of forgetting about our spiritual nature for periods of time. We dive back into the veil and we get wrapped up in the emotions of the day to day, whatever. And then waking up to that over and over again, that continual remembrance over and over again. That's kind of the point, and it's lovely. It's a painful experience, but it's actually quite beautiful. There's so much beauty in remembering who you are again, you know?
It's almost like what else could be the purpose of it,
Totally,
right? I mean, if you went into
totally.
now, just to get a little bit wild here, and I wanted to see what you thought about this. I don't know if you're familiar with David Icke.
No.
Or he's a he's goes into more controversial political stuff, but on the spiritual side, he's written books about the cycle of rebirth, death, and rebirth. And he actually says that that cycle itself of reincarnation, many religions talk about it, is itself a trap. And we could get out of it. He says that when you're told when you die to go towards the light, that's a trap. Don't go towards the light, and you can actually get out of that. So he says this whole thing is just a trap. And yes, we could play in it, but at the same time, it's like we're sort of trapped, and there's an even higher level to get to. Have you seen any of this in your experiences, or?
No, I've not heard of that. That is an
Mhm.
interesting concept though, because I think that there's an idea in the community that, believes in reincarnation, which I do, that you beat the game at some point, right? You don't have to come back here anymore.
Exactly.
And the point is to learn enough to where you become like an ascended master, like Jesus. Jesus was, not to offend anybody, Jesus's work was phenomenal. He was fully just a man. Um, but just very aware of his Christ conscious, his Christ uh beingness, basically. And the idea is people who like Jesus, like Buddha, they come here and eventually get to the point where they just ascend after that and they don't incarnate again because they've become so high vibrational. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is a trap. It wouldn't surprise me if there was dimensions far beyond what we could even imagine. However, this is just reminding me real quick, Suzanne Giesman, she
Yes.
speaks, so her spirit guides communicate with her often. She does the Q&A with her spirit guides with people, which is fascinating. And her spirit guides, because people are like, oh, past life and things like that, they asked a question of this group of spirit guides, and they say, well, your time is not linear as you perceive, right? So this group of spirit guides through Suzanne said, what you perceive as a past life is a simultaneous existence, um, like in another time, but it's happening all right now. It's
It's
all
all
right now.
happening right now, isn't it?
So
Well,
like if you potentially lived a past life, it's all just like which um this is for the nerds. This
sure.
gets into the whole multiverse, like if you were to like Spider-Man, right? And so like the different types of existences we could have simultaneously, we perceive them as past lives, but it is all taking place now. So it wouldn't surprise me if there were consciousness levels far beyond what we can even fathom, right?
It's all within you, and it's sort of like and Mike talks about this a lot, how you can change the past, like the parable of the unjust steward. That's a
Mhm.
very one that would confuse Orthodox Christians.
Right. That's beautiful. That topic came up today where, things that come up from your past to kind of haunt you, people, when you wake up at 1 a.m., remember all the embarrassing things you've ever done, going back to those moments and healing that and reliving it, doing it differently. It does rewrite the past.
It does indeed. So to get very practical here, so you're saying anyone can develop this gift, and we can we can use this to just create prosperity in our lives, correct?
Yes.
Because basically when you see something in your future, it's as if you're seeing it, something that's going to happen in the future right now, correct? And you're
Correct.
prophesying that.
Yep. Totally. Yeah, so like there's a practical manifestation part to it, and there's a kind of a spiritual sight part to it. So, from a practical manifestation part of it, you can go within, visualize what you want to have, and then kind of see if there's any emotion that rises up about that. And without trying to change it, without trying to, even without trying to release it, this is a release technique, but without trying to release it, without trying to love it, without trying to do anything to it at all, after you visualize the thing that you want, notice if there's an emotion and just put your awareness on it. Allow the depth of that feeling to fully express in that moment without doing anything, just allow it.
And it will eventually.
It'll lighten up. And then once it lightens up, go back into your visualization again. And now that's a little bit more prime breeding ground because you've released a little bit. You can continue that process. Now, in terms of meditation, There are so many beautiful guided meditations that focus on a number of topics. There are some for healing, there's some connecting your chakras, there's all these ones. And the one I have found most effective for me for just connecting with spirit and developing my intuition is, and we could do this for 30 seconds, just kind of go within for a moment. And I kind of picture my spirit coming up out of my body a little bit and expanding. And there's a bit of relief with this feeling of leaving the body for a second, feeling very expanded. And it represents to me kind of like this beautiful starry night, and I'm this kind of group of stars and the expansiveness of the realms, the outer space, right? And I kind of feel my beingness over there and over here and down there and up there. I'm just so expanded. And then this beautiful energy of love that we all are, this beautiful matrix of love that connects us. Joe Dispenza calls it the matrix, as does Greg Braden. And just this universe of all. It's all energy. I kind of see it in my mind's eye as a neural pathway, chain of neural pathways represent, kind of like this web of energy. And it's all me. And then I kind of feel this loving energy just circulating through all parts of my beingness in this energy. And it's just this beautiful feeling of love. Like if somebody you were just over the moon about gives you a huge hug, what does that feel like? And I just literally sit there in that, feeling expanded, and allow that love to just circulate. And in that moment, I allow and I say, Spirit, communicate to me anything I need to know right now for myself, for the people who listen to my videos. I'll tell you, a lot of times it doesn't come to me in that moment. It'll come to me later after I finish meditation.
That is
You can
beautiful.
do this for any period of time. I usually put on some nice music, and just kind of sit there for however long feels nice. And then whatever message comes to me, I write it down.
That is beautiful.
And then
So
throughout the day, I feel more connected as well. So sorry about that. Go ahead.
no, so yeah, of course you that carries over. That energy carries over. And so, about a year ago, I interviewed Jason Apollo Voss. He wrote this book called The Intuitive Investor. I'm not
Okay,
sure if it's an amazing book.
cool.
About using this stuff practically, he said that he became very successful. He was over a an investment fund, and he retired at like 36. But he was really into meditation. He would do a meditation where he would sort of like tap into. He would bring up a stock, like Alcoa, and he would just tap into it, and he'd feel like sick or he'd feel joy or something like that, and then he'd know, he would be able to guide his investment decisions. Do you have sort of a process for doing that also? Like, let's say you're having a job interview and you want to know what the person's going to ask. Is there sort of like a process for doing that?
Wow. You know, it's so funny. No, I haven't done that, and now I will. But I will say that in my career, my uh, job had been to really connect with people and develop a relationship with them
You in
and help.
sales, by the way? Just
Sales, yeah.
okay. I thought
Yeah,
so.
connect them. Yep. And I didn't realize help them connect to a scenario and construction sales was my industry, and help them connect to a product and a service that really responded to them. And they gave us like tests at the company to see what your superpower was, and I was able to connect with people better than anybody else. And by the time they did the test, I knew what was going on. And I was like, it's just because I'm able to kind of see people. And I think people feel seen and not judged by me because I've been able to anyway. So it's kind of fun. So I did use it inadvertently in that way. Most of my career, I didn't know that I was doing that. Um, but it was never to mislead or anything like that. It was just to connect to really what they needed, which turned out to be good for everybody, right? So, but I'm gonna follow Jason's advice and make some cool investments.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, it is very beautiful. So other aspects of this, like healing, for example, have
Yeah.
you been? I know Mike has done a lot of that. Where I think you were on like the prayer team for
Hmm.
them, and you guys had a lot of success stories in that.
So fun. Yeah.
And perhaps you could explain to us, but it really is just as simple as just saying, "I see that person well, thank you."
That's it.
That's
Yeah, and like I went on to get a certification in Reiki.
oh
Now,
wow.
the only reason I
Mhm.
did that, what we call Reiki is what Joe Dispenza calls the matrix, is what somebody calls universe, is what somebody calls spirit. It's just tapping into that source of all that we are, right? I got the Reiki certification because it is kind of a buzzword and people know what it is, and but it's just working with the energy of all. And I have some intuitive things that I go through with it. And um, we'll talk when we hang up, when we stop recording, Javier.
Okay.
Sorry. Like something's like, oh, wait a minute. But just working with that energy, seeing that person well, but I do also direct that energy to the location that is calling to me. And then yeah, it's kind of fun.
That's very nice. So yeah, it's been a very interesting conversation, and I do hope we can talk more
Yes,
in the
likewise. This
future.
is
But
fun.
just loved going into your heart and picking your brain about these things. Again, I've been watching you for a long time on, and I wonder why Mike actually stopped those church services. I thought they were pretty cool, where he'd actually have the church. I know, I think he ended up not liking it, but I think it was a very good thing. Maybe we could convince him to start it
Do it again.
again.
Yeah, I think they got rid of the brick and mortar.
They got rid of it.
I forget, well, they were leasing it from somebody, but I forget why. But yeah, we all went to online. But it was fun. It was fun to all get together and, you know, share what we see, and, maybe I'll join the call soon and he'll give me another chance to do that. Because yeah, there are people that come to my mind from time to time, and I'm so grateful to Mike that he gave me the platform to do that and he encouraged me. So
For sure. Ashley Douglas, and I know your YouTube channel is just called Ash.
it's just called
We'll
Ash.
put the link in the description, so go see your YouTube channel. It's very inspirational, and
Thank you.
I always get a lot out of your monologues and your seeings.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was so nice to talk. I could geek out with you all day on this.
We'll see you soon.
Okay, bye guys.